George, first of all, then reflecting back on the weekend and a massive win out in Edinburgh and a real gritty performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a tough game. I thought it was a really good Edinburgh team, and you know, it was ferocious. There was people smashing into each other, desperate to win that one. Both teams to try and get ahead, and a tough place to go. You know, a different stadium, very open stadium, very cold. I thought the boys were heroic in their performance, their work rate, all the things we tried to anchor down on. I thought they really delivered.
Yeah, you said obviously going into that game how big the challenge would be. Obviously, Edinburgh littered with internationals. So how pleased were you that the side obviously managed to deal with that and come away with a win?
No, I'm really, really pleased. I think obviously there's a lot of internationals in that team, Scottish and otherwise, but you know, they've made that ground a bit of a fortress and they're doing very well in their league. And you know, there's always slightly different variations to how the leagues play. So lots of challenges to take on, but the boys were brilliant. Their preparation, you could see the day before we went there, and their heads were on, and I thought they were very focused. And you know, it came down to the death of the game in the end. Huge momentum swings going from end to end, and you know, you've got to really stick in that mentally to pull through, and that's probably the most pleasing aspect.
And obviously, you said over the last few weeks that the team have sort of shifted focus a little bit. Could you see that sort of come into fruition in that game?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, the last 6 weeks, well, from the first European game, we've you know, had a very strong meeting around what we're going to focus on, and I think that's starting to come through now. And there's a couple of nice plays we got in there, obviously, but I think you can start to see our identity again, and I think if we build on that, we'll be in a good spot.
Yeah, you mentioned that identity. What does that look like, and what are you most pleased to have seen in those games?
Well, I think, like I say, the most important part was the work rate, the physicality. You know, Ludds was probably the best example of that, coming off covered in blood. But you know, the way the boys stayed connected in D against a very good attacking team, you know, backed each other up. If there was a breakthrough or whatever, someone was covering it, and just, like I say, the mental ability to stick in the fight, keep working hard, keep going at them. We got ahead, then we went behind. We got ahead, then we went behind, and you know, you've got to be tough to stay in those fights. And I think that's, you know, that's what the boys have been for a long time. And you know, we're the first to say we strayed a little bit from that, but you know, we're back on track with that now.
And obviously in the Bath game the week before, there was that opportunity in the 22, and obviously we didn't come away with that. Flash forward a week to Edinburgh, obviously in their 22 with 5 minutes left, and Zach got over the line. So that must have been pleasing to see that build.
Yeah, I think we were frustrated. You know, obviously we were frustrated with the end point, but I think, you know, I can forgive a skill error. I think, you know, there's probably a couple of bits earlier in the game which we weren't happy about how we managed it more than the end of the Bath game. But you know, I think the way the boys did, they showed real composure at the end of that game to score that final try that Zach got. There was a big build up to that. There was a lot of decisions made within that sequence, and as you say, it was a real step forward from the week before, closing the game out.
And moving into this week then, I guess with such a physical game up in Edinburgh, you've got to manage your squad carefully this week going into Castres.
Yeah, we do, and we're training smart this week. I think, you know, Castres are a big physical team, again, going very well. They've got a lot of powerful guys in that squad, so you know, we know it's going to be a huge physical test. So you know, we've trained accordingly for that. We've done training, but we've been smart with it. But you know, these games always, you know, it's a mental challenge. You know, we know what they can bring. We know the quality they've got. So it'll be a big evening for us.
Yeah, obviously Castres going pretty well in top 14, really well in Europe as well. So what are the sort of challenges they'll bring?
Well, again, physicality is a big one. They've got a big pack. You know, got a couple of big back rows, very strong carriers. You know, they like to play. You know, they will take their opportunities if you give them to them. So, from that point of view, defence, you know, has to be a focus and is a focus for us at the moment. So, you know, that doesn't change too much. But I think we've got to be ready for the size and power that they bring. You know, which they've used well the last couple of months.
And when you're playing against a side like that bring those sort of challenges, I guess this Kingsholm crowd will play a massive part.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, I mean, in Edinburgh, the support was unbelievable. You know, I think it was 2,000 people or whatever in a 8,000 people seat stadium, and you know, the noise was unbelievable. The Gloucester chants were drowning out the Edinburgh chants every time. So that was amazing. It was, you know, we've all talked about the atmosphere was outstanding, and I think, you know, hopefully it's always good at Kingsholm, but hopefully we can bring a bigger version of that this Friday night.
Yeah, you stood here in the shed, and I guess when Steve kicked that ball out at the end, it felt like that could have been kicking it out into the shed.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously we you know, we want to have some days like that here this year, and you know, the boys will carry that momentum on, and you know, the objective is to have a a great feeling like that Friday night.
And of course, a win over Castres could secure a home round of 16 spot, and obviously another opportunity for these fans to turn out. So it really is a massive game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, Castres fighting just behind us, and it's pretty tight there. So, you know, it really is a big important game, and Claremont are in that fight as well. So, you know, from that point of view, it's a really important game for us. We're really focused on it, and you know, it's important that we play like we have the last few weeks and close it out.
And finally, just going to touch on Lewis Rees-Zammit, obviously announced this week that he's leaving the club with immediate effect to pursue a career in the NFL. Obviously, what are your thoughts on that? Obviously, wish him all the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Wish him all the best. It's like a whirlwind day, you know, and I think it's, you know, it's caught us all a little bit by surprise, but I think ultimately, you know, Zam's been a great servant for the club, and you know, everybody's wishing him all the best. And you know, I think now that we've sort of had a little bit of time to digest it, it's not fully digested, but you know, I think we all wish him the best, and hopefully we see him playing in the NFL, and that'll be a part of Gloucester's history. So yeah, you know, it's been an interesting day, but you know, look, it is what it is. Sometimes things get thrown up, opportunities get thrown up for people, and that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So you know, we wish Sam, like I say, all the best.
Cheers, George. All the best for the weekend.
Thanks a lot.